Hello and welcome to Herbalist and Herbs. My name is Harry Chrissakis. Today's video is short, reducing and/or eliminating side effects. Now this is going to deal specifically with chemo, although some of these ideas can be put into other things when you're dealing with meds that you want to reduce side effects from. But today we're going to focus on chemo. Now I'm not against chemo, radiation and/or surgery, although I'm often questioning the way chemo and radiation are applied. The methodology, how many rounds are giving, who gets what, all that stuff I think really needs to be worked with in a different way. But I'm not going to go into that deeply. What I want to deal with is the reality of what's out there. And that is what people get and what I have to deal with in terms of them going through chemo. So let's start with the most general things, and then maybe I can get a little more specific, but things that affect a lot of people with chemo. And let's talk first about how to make the chemo more effective in the most simple way, and also to help prevent digestive stuff. That is to eat lightly the day before the chemo, and to eat lightly the day of the chemo, and afterward, the day afterward also. Now on the day that you're receiving the chemo, you want to also hydrate yourself well. Now if you want to, you can also fast. It's fine. But if you eat lightly, it will help you. And if you hydrate yourself well, and you can use things like slightly acidulated water, that is, say you squeeze a half a lemon into a quart of water, or watered down lemon balm tea or marshmallow tea, and that is where you use a cup of tea to mix it with a quart of water. And you drink that throughout the day, or multiple quarts, depending upon how much you need. But that'll keep you moistened from the inside out, and it will definitely help reduce both the negative side effects, and it will also enhance the effectiveness of the chemo. That's a very simple idea. Now, the things you want to do to help protect your digestive tract. Glutamine is very effective in helping. Melatonin is also quite effective in helping the digestive tract. Glutamine is an amino acid that the immune system also uses in large quantities, and also 60% of our immune system is in our gut. So along with that protective mechanism, you want to use pro and prebiotics. And again, one of the primary protective agents you can use is a yeast called Saccharomyces boulardii. This thing is excellent, and also works excellently with antibiotics if you want to kind of eliminate the side effects or reduce the side effects of antibiotics in terms of the digestive tract. Saccharomyces boulardii. Excuse me. The next would be mouth sores, right? And again, that relatively simple stuff in terms of what you can use, that is. And that is things that are demulcent in nature, things like marshmallow, licorice. They're very soothing to that kind of thing, and to reduce heat and inflammation in the upper GI with heat-clearing herbs like Scutellaria baccalensis. Very good stuff. Now, nausea and vomiting. These are big, big problems, again, with chemo because of its effect on the digestive tract in general. For nausea, the best thing is marijuana, by far. But that not everybody wants to take that, and it's also illegal in a lot of places. So the next thing would be ginger, combination of ginger caps and papaya caps. That's very helpful in terms of reducing nausea. Now remember, when people are nauseous, they can't eat, and maybe that's a good reaction in the body to the chemo of why you should eat more lightly during and after the chemo. But nevertheless, it's impacting things negatively, and it can last a long time. So we have to get nutrition back into the person and get their appetite to normalize, and these are one of the ways you do it. Again, it's green papaya and ginger to help protect the digestive tract and to reduce the nausea that's induced by that stuff. Okay, let's move on to another problem that's a big deal, and that, of course, is myelosuppression, or bone marrow suppression, which leads to the fatigue that is the most common complaint in cancer, is fatigue, and that's why. Now, this is often treated, this is basically an anemia, but it's not an iron deficiency anemia. It's a bone marrow deficiency anemia because the bone marrow is suppressed due to the chemo. And bone marrow is what makes a bunch of all the cells, red, white blood cells, platelets, and those are the three main areas that get impacted. And if it's too strong, they have to stop the chemo. And of course, this is not a very good thing. So we want to prevent that kind of suppression from happening and also keep a person's energy up along with their appetite. And there are ways to do that. So you don't give them iron supplements. This is a huge mistake. Cancer loves iron. It uses lots of it. It sequesters it into the cell for cell division. So we want to minimize the amount of things, especially supplementarily, that are high in iron. This is also one of the reasons why you don't want to give people who have cancer a lot of red meat. It's problematic because of the kind of iron that is in meat is highly absorbable, much more than vegetables, like 40 or 50% more absorbable. So from that perspective, red meat is problematic. However, if you're trying to build up a person's marrow, meat broths are excellent. Chicken stocks, beef stocks, veal stocks, and within those stocks, you can add the same herbs that you're using to keep up their blood counts, and the ones that taste good, that is. And those are herbs like astragalus and ginseng. They're actually kind of sweet and bitter the way good tonics are. And if you put it into a good chicken stock, it's a unique kind of flavor in there. But you also get the tonic action of the herbs. Another really good herb for essence or bone marrow is fo tai tiang, or what's known as He Shu Wu, also the original name. Okay, so, and again, this is extremely important for the energy and health of the client, but also for them to continue with the chemo. Now, there are many, many more things I could say in quite a number of areas, talk about in terms of chemo and the use of natural medicine. And the area that I would really like to discuss and disseminate is how to try to adjust the chemo relative to the reality of each individual's bloodstream. And I believe that possibility is out there. We can do it with the technology that we have right now. But it's very difficult for multiple reasons legally and in the reality of convincing oncologists to actually do it. That being said, in order to reduce side effects and try to make people's lives more comfortable and keep them strong during the chemo that they're getting these days, these kinds of things will help. And there are many, many more things that can be done relative to the variety of problems that arise in chemo. And you can get quite specific about which herbs and which supplements you use in relationship to which chemo drug, because they act differently and they work on different foundations and they work in different directions that the various herbs complement in terms of both making the drug more effective and having it produce less collateral damage in our body. Those are two wonderful things, and you can do them both with natural medicine. If you want to know more about the subject of cancer and other diseases, please go to my website, which is herbalistandherbs.com. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video.